going to be a TVT. We're going to have Classic for STX against Hansen for Stars. We're going to be playing on Sniper Ridge, or I guess they're going to be playing on Sniper Ridge. And it's basically going to be two kind of meh Terran players, possibly just dragging out a long TVT. To be honest, I'm kinda hoping this doesn't go too long. I mean, we have seen some really nice TVTs recently. Baby versus... what's his face? Oh, what's his face? Oh, Bogus. Baby versus Bogus was very, very good. And I thought there was one other really good TVT. I can't remember who the players were. My memory is pretty shoddy. But in this case, they're two mediocre Terrans. Classic's only claim to fame is that he knocked Flash out of an MSL group. An MST group, I guess. I think it was him along with Sock who knocked Flash out of that group. And Hansen's claim to fame is more recent. He did beat Bisu in a TVP this season. I don't think anyone's ever gonna let Bisu live that one down, unfortunately. At least not this season. So, oh, it was on this map as well, so I guess Hansen perhaps might feel a little bit lucky on this map. Either way, let's see what they can do. Just waiting for the game to start. Classic has some issues. Alright, so Classic, you're messing us up. We're just gonna jump ahead in the video. Oh, back of it. Back. Hey, there we go. So originally I was thinking actually of trying to pull someone in for a dual cast today. And I was like, I don't really feel like it. Because if I dual cast, then I have to go into tryhard mode, you know? And today is really not tryhard day. Today is just chill and just be chill. Yeah. So it looks like Classic will be the orange Terran in the bottom left. That would make Hansen the purple Terran. In the top right, we're going to have a cross-position TVT here on Sniper Ridge. So potentially going to be a fairly long game. I guess we shall see. There's Hansen, aka July Terran. And what is the TVT we saw on this map? Oh, it was Turn versus Bogus. Oh, was that the other one I'm thinking of? Turn versus Bogus? I think that might be the other one I'm thinking of. Either way, that's a really good game as well. And I guess spoiler alert, it seems Bogus is unfortunate in that he's the loser on both of those epic TVTs. Pretty sure it was Turn versus Bogus, where Turn just like goes 9-fact and attacks while Bogus is swinging around the south side. Turn just like goes for his natural and wins. Quite an awesome game. Anyway, we're seeing that couple again. I don't know what's so interesting about them. All right, maybe the obs guy, the camera guy, is trying to make us jelly. I don't know. Anyway, so it looks like we have a barracks planted just outside the natural for Classic. And is Hansen actually going to do the same? Or no, is that just a scout? No, it looks like he actually built his at the top of his ramp in a more standard position. This kind of proxy racks is fine. It's actually pretty standard nowadays in TVT to build your barracks not in your main base. That guy is praying hard. I don't actually know who he's praying for. Because it's not like we have any, you know, huge name players. Like, you know, if Bisu's playing and someone's praying, then you're pretty sure they're praying for Bisu. But like Classic versus Hansen, like who does? Do these guys actually have fans? All right, guys. Is that a girl? Oh shit! Whoops. Whoopsie daisies. Man, that's so weird, because I was just watching Terror's stream, because he was streaming like his... Oh, wait, what is this? What is this? A Proxy Factory? Interesting. Proxy Factory Hansen. But yeah, I was just watching Terror's stream, because he was streaming whatever league thing he's doing, like he had Zergman versus Savior and Anytime versus Haya. And then the guy who was co-commentating with him was like... I'm like 80% sure that it was a male, but he was so feminine that I was questioning myself. So I'm becoming very gender confused, or is that like the right term? I don't know. If it's pretty, F it. That's the best principle. So we have the factory just being planted in Classic's main. He has no idea about this proxy fact just yet. His barracks is floating kind of towards the 12 o'clock-ish. And a second proxy factory! Hansen, what is this madness? By the way, Hansen actually did this against a Zerg player at some point. I can't remember. But he definitely did this against some Zerg player. Like proxying a factory, like he spawned in the bottom right, the Zerg was bottom left, and he proxied a factory at the 12 and just like mass pumped vultures, which is quite funny. And in this case, he's decided to up the ante here, double the stakes. And the first vulture is out, killing a marine, not sniping off that SCV that was building the command center. I'm a little bit surprised at why not. Why did he not stick around to snipe that? What's going on? Okay, looks like he just went back to regroup with a couple more dudes. And it looks like well, he's going to stop this command center from finishing, for sure. Now, oh, a lot of SCVs actually being pulled for Classic here, doing the mass repair on his Vulture. It's going to be very difficult for Hansen to break this. He actually loses one Vulture for no reason. Loses his SCV as well. Hansen not really controlling this that well. But he's going to have two factories there, pumping units. So, Classic is kind of okay. Well, I don't know. Is he okay? He's gonna... because, I mean, I'm pretty sure Hansen's just gonna mass pump vultures off these two factories. And Classic, presumably, is gonna get a siege tank. So this might end up like, what's that game? The Kong game. The reason that we have the game that Kent made the picture for, like the tank versus the vulture, this could end up like that. But no, it's actually Goliaths. I was gonna say, like, I thought the reinforcing vultures should have came already. It felt like they were taking a little bit long to pop out, and actually that's because it was Goliaths. Now, Goliaths actually fared decently against the siege, against unsieged tanks. They're not, you know, they're not amazing or anything, but they're okay. And Hansen just... Oh man, look at that. He's gonna throw down two machine shops there. It's like, screw it, man. It's all good. The SCV's there. He's like, that's not your main base. That is in fact not your main. By the way, that TVZ that Hansen proxy factored on was apparently Hansen versus Ware. Thank you, Canage. Wait, Blind War, how do you say it? Kiet. How else do you pronounce that? I don't know. Hansen continuing to do some harassment here, but I mean, this doesn't look like it's going to work. In which case, Hansen is in terrible position because he has both his factories proxied. Presumably, he's just going to start making siege tanks there and get a contain off. But I mean, he has no expansion, so. I mean, see, Classic's got siege, right? So he's just gonna siege up here and be fine. And I don't really know what Hansen thinks he can do here. Even if he gets a contain off, he's just behind. Looks like Goliath now out to start shooting away that barracks. Classic, by the way, is making Marines out of the barracks in the middle of the map. I'm not really sure what he thinks he's gonna do with that. I mean, is he just gonna counterattack with Marines? Is he really? Oh man, this is gonna be so funny. Oh wow, Classic. This is actually turning out to be a much better TVT than I expected. And he actually killed the SCV making that refinery. That's quite funny. Interestingly, look at this. So Hansen has a barracks spotting for his tanks. Classic doesn't have anything spotting, so he used an SCV just now, but he has to be very careful. Yeah, look at that, sending out another SCV, because the crucial thing to note is that siege tanks can shoot farther than they can see. So one trick Terrans can often do is if your siege tanks don't have a spotter, you unsiege all your tanks, you inch forward into within range of their tanks, but they still but out of vision range, and you siege up, and then you can get the first volley, even though you're the one that moved forward. But ooh, it looks like we're gonna have a very even exchange of siege tanks here. No, actually, never mind. Classic is gonna hold on nicely. And Classic's Marines doing the baller counterattack here. I think Hansen's in a bit of trouble, but I don't know why Classic thinks he needs to do this, though. That is absolutely not necessary at this point. Hansen has no expansion. He just lost some extra SCVs to 3 random Marines. Like, there is absolutely no reason for Classic to attack right now. Please, Classic, do not just suicide all your units into that cliff. Do not. Blind Roar, it's definitely not Kate. Are you kidding me? It's IE. What? How would you pronounce that Kate? Oh my god, Blind Roar. Actually, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He's like Indian or something. He's like Klazart. He's like Indian Irish, so he can't pronounce things. Alright, I'll forgive you, Blind Roar. So anyway, the barracks is now inside the main base of Hansen, making Marines, which is pretty baller. So Hansen has decided to actually just bring back a Vulture, so he doesn't have to deal with that nonsense anymore, and I think that's a good idea. One Vulture will take care of quite a few Marines. Anyway, there's the STX coach, trying his best to do a January face, but kind of not really succeeding. Anyway. Oh, wait, did I say STX? I meant Stars coach. That's the STX coach. Whoops! Whoopsie daisies! Oh man, that was terrible. Got the coaches backwards. So we have a Firebat now in the main. Where did that Vulture go though? Like there was a Vulture going back, right? Wait a minute. Okay, no, there it is. All right, so that should be fine then. That's actually also just in time. Wow, could you imagine? Like that could have done an insane amount of damage, but as it is, that's just completely wasted. I mean, it's cute and everything, but I mean, you know, the first Marine attack was good. This one didn't quite work out. I think that was good foresight by Hansen to bring that Vulture back. Well, not really foresight. I mean, he already had Marines in his main, so it's just like, oh, maybe I should, you know, have something that defends my SCVs. And we do have a dropship out for Classic. That's a very good idea. It's going to be exceedingly difficult for him to break this contain. So doing this kind of counter dropping will be quite nice. Of course, Hansen only just now got his expansion up, so definitely still behind on the eco. For some reason, he didn't transfer many SCVs either. I'm not really sure why. Did he just cancel a factory in order to replace it? I hope not. I hope that was a different building that was cancelled there. That would be exceedingly silly to cancel a factory. I mean, you can't lift them, you know, so no real reason to cancel that. Anyway, what's going to be in this, though? Is this going to be 4 Goliaths? 4 Vultures? What's in this dropship? It's going all the way to the back. Hansen just doesn't see it. Yeah, it's going to be 4 Goliaths. Okay. Oh, 3 Goliaths only. Okay, alright. But that's going to be quite difficult for Hansen to deal with. Bringing back Vultures isn't going to do anything against that. He's going to have to bring back Goliaths and or siege tanks. And looks like he's just jiggling his tanks here. I'm not really sure what he hopes to do. There is a dropship out now spotting for Classic, so Hansen can't even do like the inch forward trick with his tanks. So this harass is actually doing an insane amount of damage. 2 siege tanks are coming back. But even if the 2 tanks come back, I mean, there's no anti-air in Hansen's base, so Classic can just keep loading up the Goliaths and running back and forth between the mineral lines and being exceedingly annoying. I'm sure as a pro gamer he'll have enough APM to do that, although perhaps not. He should have enough APM to continue harassing with these. And I mean, looks like another dropship coming out here. Basically, what's going to happen, I think, is Classic is going to keep harassing Hansen and getting a bigger and bigger advantage, and then eventually he's just going to move out with like, you know, 4 or 5 dropships full of units and a big ground force and just break the contain by doing like a moving drop all over the units. I'm pretty sure that's how this game's going to turn out, because I mean, Classic is still, you know, 15, 16 supply ahead. Ooh! Did he take a shot on that? Yeah, he actually took the mine hit on there. Oh man, that is yucky. Oh man, huge mine going off. I think that was better for Hansen though, because he lost mainly vultures and a couple of SCVs, whereas he got a bunch of Goliath kills. Man, could you imagine if Classic had actually dropped that in the mirror line? That would be amazing. But look at this, Hansen's SCV saturation is pretty poor right now. His economy is really hurting. So I think it is just a matter of when Classic feels that he has enough to actually break this. I wonder if Hansen should perhaps start building some turrets or depots or something to really help out. I mean, wait, is Classic really just going to keep counterattacking? He's actually just built another command center here. I think he should just invest in a big break. He can definitely do it. He has way more forces. You know, harassing is good, but if you over harass and don't actually, you know, like build up your own ground army and actually be able to leave your base, eventually it will stop being that effective. Interestingly, I was watching some Protoss's first-person view on the on Ma Jae-yoon's stream before Terra's tournament thing, and there was a PvP where it was like exactly the case. It was basically some like MBC trainee against Backho, and Backho like ended up in a situation where he was down on the ground army, so he kept doing all this fancy shuttle harass with like storms and reavers and whatnot, and he did a ton of damage, but eventually he just like didn't have enough stuff on the ground and just couldn't win the game. Like he couldn't expand, so gotta be a little bit careful. But it looks like he has, or Classic has at least displaced these two factories. Not the biggest deal, but he is also floating out to the 6 o'clock, so he will be able to get the 6 o'clock. I'm a little bit surprised that Hansen hasn't like maybe built a random turret or two around the map just to check for that kind of thing, like floating out of the expansions. And this counter drop though actually might be good. Looks like actually cloaked wraiths are on the way for Hansen, and he does have a few units in his main base. He actually thinks the drop is going to go into the main from the north side, but actually it's coming into his natural. A second drop should actually going along the left side of the map, perhaps while Hansen, or while Classic rather, does this big drop in the natural and pulls all of Classic's. God damn. I keep getting these guys mixed up. While Classic does this big drop in the natural and forces Hansen's units to defend that, he's going to go sneak in some vultures in the back or something like that, do some SCV damage. Seems like a good idea. Either way. Oh, looks like there are actually spider mines. Okay, so Hansen did do something slightly clever here. Yeah. So that was good. I thought I should do that. And looks like, oh, the other dropship is going to get taken down by a couple of cloak wraiths. Just looks like it had one tank and a couple of Goliaths. That's an interesting composition. But that's not going to do too much. However, Classic is denying the natural of Hansen, so he's still on 2 base against 1. Looks like his 3rd base isn't going to be able to start mining, but that's not a big deal. And actually, these units are going to go in the back. I wonder, is he going to counter-contain? Oh my god, look at this! Now both players are actually contained! Look at that! Contain and counter-contain. Wow, that's interesting. Anyway, it looks like the command center is going to flee from these tanks. Who are they going to go pursue it, or are they just going to go back to the contain? Looks like a couple of wraiths actually coming out, so that's going to force this command center to land. And looks like Classic is just going to go for the break now, and the SCV's even coming out to help. I think it'll be enough. He's got so many units. Yeah, just an overwhelming amount of units, which is what you need to break a position like this. And he's going to take it out. Looks like Hansen going to lose those factories at the front as well. Has lost everything. Classic, I think, just sacrificed a few SCVs, but absolutely worth it in this case. I wonder how his command center is doing in the bottom right, though. Be a bit silly to lose that, but either way, he is completely fine now. Hansen is now down 50 supply and without his contain. So he's now going to be the one that's completely contained. And I think I just saw some random comp sets go down on the minimap. That was interesting. Anyway, Hansen is pretty dead here, and that's going to mean STX goes up 2-0 over Stars, which is not so good for Stars. Although I guess it's good for the viewers, because that's going to put them. I think right now STX is 7 and 8, and Stars is 8 and 7. So if STX takes them down here, they will both be 8 and 8 in the middle of the rankings. Anyway, so looks like a few random units getting cleaned up here at the 12. Hansen is completely dead, and we are just gonna wait for him to GG. Classic has over double the supply right now. I mean, these cloaked wraiths perhaps can do something interesting. As we saw, Classic did invest in quite a few dropships. Looks like that tank is vigorously nuzzling the backside of the other tank. Let's just put it that way. I want to keep this PG-13. And looks like he's going to do some harass with this. He might actually pick off the SUV that's making that command center. I actually don't know. I don't think that was finished. And whoa, what's going on here? Bit of a missed drop there, but here we go. Going for the break on the natural. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if it's even necessary, to be honest. I mean, although I guess it looks like he's actually... What that's done is it's put him in siege range of the natural command center. So that's going to have to lift at least. So in that regard, actually, I think it's absolutely worth it. You know, Classic, thankfully, not making us sit through a reverse contain. And is that Classic's expansion? I think that's actually Classic building a command center at Hansen's third. Meanwhile, Hansen is now going to take the 12 o'clock. I don't really know why Classic wants to take this base. I mean, with the wraiths of Hansen could just go over and poke it. It is kind of near his big contain army thing, but that's not... I don't know. It's not a BM move either, though. Like, it's not a BM move. It's not a mana CC, because Hansen can't see it. If it's a mana CC, it's got to be like the worst mana CC I've ever seen. Oops, sorry. Just moused over the thing. I don't know. Whatever. He wants a command center there. Look, he's actually taking it as a legit expansion too. That is quite funny. I mean, you know, if you want to try and justify it, you could say, since he has this contain right now, he could mine from that base and like, and so even if Hansen breaks the contain at some point, like he'll have mined out Hansen's third, so Hansen will have to take like some other base further away, which will make it worse for him. But that's a little bit of a stretch. Like that's kind of like Anyway, Hansen trying to do some fancy vulture harass, not gonna happen. He has actually snuck his command center out to the top left natural, but some vulture's gonna go take care of that. So yeah, Hansen, you are welcome to GG at any time, sir. In fact, we would welcome it. And the natural command center goes down, all the siege tanks are gone, all the SCVs are gone. Hansen doesn't actually look that upset. He does not, he actually just looks hungry right now. I think he's just gonna, you know, just GG out in a second and go get a burger or something, that'll cheer him up. He's down 100 supply. Yeah. Hansen, man. Alright, he's gonna do the counter drop. I don't even know what he has in it. Could you imagine if he just loaded up 16 SCVs? He's gonna go for a 16 SCV counter, that's gonna be so sick. Oh, he's gonna snipe some dropships. And GG! He doesn't even go for his own drop. So, Classic takes set number 2. STX goes up 2-0 over Hansen. Look, he does not look upset at all. He looks completely fine. I don't know, maybe that's his upset face. Maybe he just has a really content-looking upset face. I don't know. Classic looks pretty happy. We're going to go on to set number 3.
뉴클리어 소리 나올 뻔했습니다. 예, 일단 정말 험한 무서운 걸 당할 뻔했는데 일단 노중규 안타까운 패배. 김도 선수 오늘 준비된 경기력 제대로 보여주네요.
Oh, gotta wait for this ad to go away.
If you've taken out a loan, mortgage, store, or credit card in the last 10 years,
It's an ad about mortgage. Does anybody need a new mortgage? Does anybody?